Daniel, thanks so much for joining us today. Could you define your vision on the continent right now, and has it changed? In the past few years?
Okay, good afternoon, first of all. It's good to be here, and yes, the vision that Alcatel-Lucent has for Africa, of course, has heavily changed over the last few years. I think the vision that we have today is basically got to do with broadband. We know broadband has started to arrive and then penetrate in Africa, but there's a long way still to be done until the people in Africa, I'm not saying all the people, but the majority of the people will have access to an affordable broadband connection, and then based on this connection can enjoy all kinds of services that of course go way beyond a normal voice line today. It goes way beyond a data connection that gives possibility to access the internet, but then even further than this, it would give a lot of possibilities in terms of services that are theoretically possible today, but that just need a much stronger broadband rollout across the continent in order to have people really getting access to these services.
And of course the rollout is certainly taking place right now, with the submarine cables now being laid across both sides of the continent. In Angola, you've got that partnership with Angola Cables as consortium of telecommunications companies. Tell us a little bit about that partnership firstly, and then of course we'll talk about opportunities that will come as a result of that.
Okay, there's a lot of things that are happening at the moment. They basically happen in all kind of stages of the network. You're right in starting with the submarine cables, of course, because that's the essential first step to bring the international connectivity to the continent. Without this international connectivity, nothing can happen, and we have seen, as a result of the arrival of the submarine cables, how the prices for the internet came down, how the affordability has completely changed as a result of the submarine cables. So Angola Cables is only one of our partners. If you see one of the bigger, or let's say one of the recently inaugurated cables is VAX, and this has quite a number of stops starting here in South Africa and then going up to Europe. And in Angola Cables is one of our partners, and they basically do the next step. The submarine cable arrives at a landing point in each of these countries, and then the next step is to bring the cable or the connectivity from this landing point inside the country. Mm-hmm. And that's where the next challenge now is at the moment, not just in Angola, of course, but in all of the countries, bring connectivity closer to the users. And the project that we're doing with Angola Cables, but we're doing similar projects with other operators in other countries, is what we call terrestrial backbones that pick up the traffic as it comes in, or the connectivity as it comes in from the submarine cable, and brings it to the big cities, and then from there closer to the users.
I mean, as you say, you know, it makes sense to start with submarine cable, and that, of course, you're partnering there specifically with Angola Cables. But when it comes to financing, what type of deals or what type of financing structures are you using for this? Is it government financing? Are banks putting in money? And to what extent is Alcatel putting in money here?
We see a very wide variety of financing here. It's not either or exclusively. We see projects that are purely privately funded. We see other projects that are not many of them entirely government funded, but to a large extent. And then you also see more and more a real cooperation in the shape of public-private partnerships, where all the industry stakeholders, including the government, would work together and finance some of these infrastructure projects. Many of them really can only happen when the players work together. Like all the submarine cables, they are all consortia of many operators, or in some cases governments, as you rightfully said, and they're all put together in different shapes, in different structures, with different shares, but it is always a quite difficult piece of work, depending of course on the size of it, that can only happen if the stakeholders play together. And I think that will continue like this. If we, speaking in plural here, all of us want to make a big broadband rollout through Africa, then that's the only way of getting it done, if you have all the stakeholders playing together and working together.
And of course the need certainly is there.